So, time for a quick bit of creature creation. I'm going to start something real simple here. This is for some classwork, but I'm just going to sort of focus in on some faces here. Cat face, just a regular kind of cat. So some of the things, let's go ahead and adjust this a little bit. Different creatures, different facial setups. This in particular is sort of similar in a lot of ways to like drawing human heads, where you're kind of doing the whole, it's a head. Oh, let me get a new brush out. I do like this brush, but it's a little, you know what, I'll keep using it, it's fine. A little bit of a graphite pencil brush, right? So when you're drawing like a human figure, you get kind of this, sort of setup here where you got halfway point kind of thing. Let's do this one more time. Here we go, here we go, here we go. I'm gonna make a box head. Halfway point, halfway point, halfway point. Right where you got this, you got the eyes, and you got a mouth down here. Well, that's not so much the case then when you're doing animals and creatures. They get a little different. This cat face, for example, some features about it that kind of help define. You kind of almost want more of a, again, just watch the shapes, but they have much more of kind of like a, well, this little more of this shape on their head, and they've got a jawline structure that kind of does more of this. It's very prominent, and then they've got their little mouths are kind of way down here towards the bottom with their little frisky bits down here. Boop boop boop, little hair. The friskies go in the mouth, and then you've got sort of this nose, right, which you can kind of see lining up with the cheeks, or the, I guess they're not cheeks there. Not sure what those are called on the cat. It's part of the nose still, I suppose, in a way. And then you can kind of push this, their noses are kind of these little things that kind of go up here. And the eyes specifically are very different from like human eyes, in that the eyes, they definitely benefit from this sweeping overarch, right? And this lower piece here. This is, again, my life drawing skills would take a little longer to actually accurately do this, but if you look at it, just kind of, I'm just trying to get this face structure down. Their heads more sloped here, kind of thing. Just landmark points, right? This is kind of like more like some kind of Khajiit at this point. But definitely feeling, right? Almost more Sphinx cat. Shave down some of that head. But these are kind of like important factors, is the fact that cats have a little more of this kind of going on. That's a flute for whatever you want to add in. Alright, let's see what else we got. See, this look in the eye is pretty important. I always think the eyes are really important for any creature that you're doing. Whenever you make any kind of creature, the eyes are a pretty big part of it. See? So you get this sweep here, right? Gives them the mysterious cat-like look. They don't really have much of a pupil. Their eyes are pretty big, and I didn't see no pupil really going on. So that's cat. Let's see what else we got here. Again, it's all kind of like pay attention to the anatomy. What do we got here? Cheetahs and stuff. There's lots of different cats. I mean, obviously, if you go to something like a lion, you're going to get a much different sort of look. Their muzzle much bigger. They got a way bigger mouth. Well, go figure, right? So always grab yourself some good reference to use. You know, look at that. That's drastically different. Whereas the cat's got more tiny faces and gaunt. The lion's gonna have this giant muzzle. Ears are really different too. Let's go ahead and jump back. Let's take a look at something like really different, like a let's peek at insects real quick. Praying mantis is kind of cool. Not sure if I have many of them. Scorpion. Ooh, scorpions are creepy. Okay, so with the scorpion, you're probably not gonna care much about like the face, right? But insects in general are creepy, right? But you know, good fantasy monster. Bad rap, I suppose, for scorpions. But I mean, look at this thing. I mean, I would probably leave out like the hair bits, but I mean, the chitin and the bumpiness and like these layers. This thing is pretty gross. So now it becomes more of, instead of what's the face look like, what am I trying to do here? You're much more concerned with, like, say, the structure of the creature itself, right? So let's shrink this down so I got some space. And that's going to be sort of your emphasis, is this structure. So like, what is the chitinous body on this thing look like, right? And getting these layered pieces to look right. And like, it's got these little creepy crawly legs, and of course don't forget to put like things like the claws out front, right? Bam. Alright, so this is more shapes and sort of looking at the anatomy. It's got its little pinchers. Texture, don't worry about like the detailed textures. Worry about, always worry about the shapes first. What are the shapes and the positionings going on, you know? It's got like little crazy mandibles down there. I think those are eyes. Oh no, those are water drops. It looks like it's eyes. It's got like kind of a, when you start to kind of study this, it's got this sort of these rounded shapes here where it probably houses its mouth parts, right? Maybe I'll just give them a little bit of edging. There's all sorts of things going on down in here, though. I'm just going to generally fill those in, because if I need to come back and like detail them out, I can later. But for now, it's sort of just a dark, gaping maw area that is spooky, and you don't want to be near. So then its eyes are like these little... I can see how you could kind of make this look cute if you was just like, with this little guy here being like, oh please don't squish me, you know. little blacky eyes, little dark eyes. But we want to look menacing, so oh, it's actually kind of hard to make him look menacing. He's got such a derpy little head thing going on. Well, alright. This is where you want to maybe embellish a little bit. Because if you want that sort of nasty look, you kind of want... Gosh, the eyes are just straight up not... There you go. It's just kind of... his head's funky. So anyway, there we go. This looks... he's got like puffy cheeks is the thing. So I gotta make him look... maybe a little more streamlined. Tricky. He does kind of look a little silly. feels like animals shouldn't even have eyes. Like, it should just be like this carapace of nothing kind of here. We can kind of come back and fixate on the eyes. Maybe they just have like a tiny little speck of gleam in there. But I'm getting caught up. Don't get caught up in those details. I always come back and kind of figure out a way to maybe make him look more menacing. Gosh, he's got such a tiny little eyeball set. Look at that. Like, if you just look at that... Anyway, I guess you have to really probably focus on other parts, because those tiny little eyes on that big face make him look a little dopey, as, like, creatures go. Much more important to kind of focus on the segments. So these are easy enough. You can just kind of lay out these segment pieces, right? Like little pinchy bits, right? And you could go on like that, right? That's easy enough. And then you can get into like finally the bits of detail, but get the shape right so that you get these, right, shadowed pieces in. Make sure that they kind of feel like they're going under a shell, right? Right, let's move on to another one. So yeah, with insects, they don't have a lot of facial expressions, so you really want to kind of push. These should be really kind of like impressive and scary. Let's try, real quick, a slugs. Birds, ancient mammals. What do we got? I don't know what I got in Fantastic Beasties. Foodons, kitsunes, unicorns. Ooh, horses and unicorns become a whole thing. I don't think I have horses. Hooved animals? Maybe. Let's try birds. Let's see what we got in the birds. Chickens, pigeons, ostrich. Wow, very different, right? Lots of different stuff going on. Let's go with a sandhill crane for the moment, just because that's kind of different, kind of interesting. It's kind of weird pose. Kind of boring. That's kind of interesting. Silhouettes. That's cute. This is kind of neat. Yeah, I changed my mind about the sandhill crane. Well, everyone likes crows and stuff, right? Let's do a crow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright, so we'll do a crow, because that's kind of a classic fantasy creature. Sort of straight up classic creature concepting. So get in here, kind of do up the head. Obviously the crow, birds have kind of weird bodies, but this crow will do like just the shapes. Again, we're trying to outline shapes for the most part. That's how you get things kind of done and off and running. You can always fix up things. You should always be like ready to take your time and effort to fix things up. Let's make them smaller so I can see all of it. Right? And it looks like his head's kind of, a little bit of a helper is to do a little bit of this. And we'll put this crow beak here. It's kind of got a smug look to his face. I might be making that a little. This is really important with birds. It's really important to nail down these beak lengths. Same with like a lot of different creatures. Like for example, the difference between a fox, a wolf, and a dog. So like the face obviously plays a big part, so the length of the nose and all that kind of stuff. Get this in here. And I can tone down my eraser a touch. Right? Give that eye effect. Right? This is sort of important as this when the light hits a point, that light always pushes through. And all these creatures have kind of different eye setups. You can see they got right, and this beak. And most birds have their little nostrils right up in here, kind of thing. I'm gonna go ahead and lay in more of this dark. Should be a lot of it through here. And kind of got this cool feathery effect going on down here. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I just kind of want to lay down some colors and stuff and kind of come back and come back and get these in a moment. So like, let's say, right, get in these shadows, and then I can kind of come back in and I can really lay out more detailed pieces here in a moment. I'm gonna give him a little bit of a weird bird smirk. Someone's kind of bird smirking. Right? And now, the cool thing is you can kind of like push in shapes, right? So, I mean, obviously these ones going to be a little lighter. I'm going to tone down. There we go. Get back in here and kind of get more of these feathers. Now what I can do is I can kind of emphasize aspects. Like, so the head is light, and there's light kind of pushing through here, right? So I'll get that in there. Kind of push it through here since it's a very shiny beak. This feels like it could be darker, so I'm gonna kind of darken this up. And there's little bits of light through here. A little bit more. Feels like I could probably get a little carried away. Let's remove some of that, just for effect. This is where you kind of gotta take some artistic license. Artistic license is not I totally did, not what I saw. Artistic license is I am adjusting for aesthetics, right? Let's go ahead and see this one is really white. Alright, so now. Right, there you go. Burb. Let's go ahead and fix up some of this. Oh, the flow is set to 20. That's fine. Just kind of shave and clean up. And, you know, it wouldn't be terrible to maybe, depending on what you're doing, kind of add some extra bits and pieces here. Right? Ruffle it a little bit or something. With the birds, there's feathers. You want them to feel feathery and floofy. This is kind of the idea, right? There's all this feather everywhere. And the legs would be down here somewhere. I didn't really include the legs, but see, I'm just scratching. I'm just chicken scratching it in. Because they always come back. And it's, at this point, more about sort of the light anyway. I'm kind of more concerned about what the light is doing. And let's grab real dark, and I'll just kind of finish off with some feather tweaks here. Again, flow is pretty low on here, but there you go. Alright, so there is some creature concepting Each animal, whenever you're doing anything with any kind of creature, or you're trying to blend them into other things, which I'll probably talk more about in class, you want to always keep in mind, like the individual aspects that really matter, right? Each creature kind of has its own things you want to maybe emphasize. And then don't forget that, again, it's always all about shapes, trying to create general shape and light. Remember where light is, remember where shapes are, and then add in more of your texture and detail inside of that. So there you go.